by the time I was a senior in high school, I had become pretty good at making out with girls because that's really all I wanted to do. And I had a girlfriend at the beginning part of my senior year who I thought for the first time was desperately in love with. And shortly after my birthday in December, she abandoned me, and it was terrible. And what was worse is that there was a dance coming up, the winter formal, which in my high school was called Bally High. Had nothing to do with South Pacific or any ocean, and had nothing to do with anything. They didn't. It was the girls would ask the boys, and so I was, no one was going to go with me. But I was asked by this lovely junior who I vaguely knew through my now ex-girlfriend, and so it seemed like fine, no big deal. We'll go as friends, and the night started off great. We doubled with another couple, and we went to dinner, and then we went to the dance for a little bit, and then the plan was a bunch of us were going to meet back at this house up in the hills, and we were just going to hang out all night, And we got there, and it was great. And we had this whole it was one of those like 4-level jobs where one side was all windows, and we had the second level, and it had a television, and it was pretty nice, and that was us. And so I knew what was going to happen, I thought. But you still go through the routine of like, she goes, well, we should watch a movie. And I'm like, absolutely, because you feel like you're going to watch a movie. And we put on Good Morning Vietnam. And, you start watching it for a little bit because you think, I don't know, we just did. So it's about the time that Robin Williams does his first sort of, broadcast, and we start kissing, and it's going pretty well. And we do that for a long time. The movie's long since over. It rewinds and the thing, I remember. And that sort of, broke us out a little bit. And we each sort of regrouped with the other, I went and talked to the guys that were in the house. She talked to the girls. And we came back down and continued it. At some point, we fell asleep. And, this girl was great, She was just sweet and pretty and really smart. And I had a really good time with her. And I woke up, and the sun was coming in, and there were no shades drawn, so the light, she was between me and the windows, and the sun was coming in. It was just beautiful, and it was kind of coming over her, and it was all golden. And I got up, and I sort of looked at her, and she was laying there, and she looked dead. Because she was covered in heavy, deep bruises. And it was terrifying because she was very clearly beaten at some point, and she opened her eyes, which scared me because I, in those seconds, thought she was dead. She wasn't, and she looked at me. She gave me this, at once, a really kind, lovely smile, and then confused. And I said, look, there's something, whatever I said. And she kind of looked down, and she got up and went to the bathroom, and it was dead silent. And I was very aware of that I should put a shirt on, and I did that, and she came out very confused, and she said, what happened? And I said, I don't know. And she said, what did you do? And I said, I don't know. I don't think I did anything. And I said, does it hurt? And she said, no, it doesn't hurt. And we didn't drink. We didn't take anything. And so, but everywhere, it's just, I can't even begin to describe black and blue. Everywhere I had been was a mark. It was, And so we were very confused, and she was sure I didn't, hurt her. And she said, well, we better go home. You need to take me home. And I said, okay, which means I had to take her home to her mother, who didn't like me to begin with, I don't think, and certainly wasn't going to like what I was about to explain to her, that not only did we stay, we arranged to stay out, but we had clearly spent the night together, and that she came back looking kind of bruised, really bruised. And when we got in, she kind of, she made us sit down, and we had to explain everything. And then it was awful. And she said, I'm going to have to call your mother. And I asked her, don't call Janet. Janet doesn't need to know. I really didn't do anything. We just made out. And I said, I don't know what happened. They're not hickeys, because I know how to not do that. And she goes, well, those aren't hickeys. And I said, no. And she said, I think she's just allergic to you. And I said, what? And she goes, well, there's sensitive there's a skin sensitivity or something in her family. She said, it happens, and some people just bring it out of others. And she said, let's go back and how bad is it? And I said, well, and I mean, I was all over this girl. So anyway, it was like a black light, it was, yeah. So she called my mom and just said that everything was fine and that they had a good night and that I was very respectful. I clearly didn't know how to make out with this girl without, leaving horrible bruises. So for a week at school, she wore sort of little scarves and some she had to hide them, but we never went out again because she chemically can't go out with me in any sort of real way. And she's around. We're still friends. She's in town, and I ran into her at a party for the first time maybe 10 years ago, and someone said, do you know, I'm not going to say her name, and I said, yeah, I do. And she said, were you the one that she's allergic to? And I'm like, what? And she had been telling her circle of friends this story for years. And so, yeah, I'm the guy she's allergic to. It's not that bad. Thank you.